Today, we're tearing down a really common and honestly a really expensive misconception about starting an online business. You know the drill, right? Most of us think step one is locking yourself in a room, brainstorming this perfect digital product, dropping cash on a slick website, and just crossing your fingers. Well, actually, scratch that. It's pretty much the exact recipe for failure. Instead, we're going to unpack what's called the trust economy. We'll look at why you need to completely shift your focus away from what you're selling and start focusing on exactly who is paying attention to you. Okay, let's dive right into this. The whole thing rests on this one simple, almost backwards sounding idea. You don't need a product to start. You need attention. I know. It sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? But here's the hard truth from our source material. It literally does not matter if you are the absolute best in the world at what you do if nobody knows you exist. Attention is your leverage. Without it, you're just not going to make a dime. People waste months, sometimes years, agonizing over the perfect product. But a perfect product launched to an empty room, yeah, that generates exactly zero revenue. Now I can practically hear the objection right now. Wait, do I really need an audience for this? And the answer is an absolute undeniable yes. You need an audience for everything. Building an audience is the true non-negotiable foundation of a modern online business. We've got to move away from this cold, transactional, buy my product mindset and embrace warm, actual human connection because, it becomes so much easier to build an audience when you show up seeking to genuinely connect rather than just desperately trying to squeeze out a quick sale. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where so many aspiring entrepreneurs just get it completely backwards. Look at the wrong order here. Making a product, building a site, agonizing over a cute logo for weeks, and then launching to absolute crickets. Why? Because they have no audience, which means no trust and ultimately zero customers. Now contrast that with the right order. It's simple, really. First, you capture attention and build trust. Then you document your journey while solving problems. And only then, at the very end, do you actually create a product to sell to the people who are already paying attention. To really get why attention is the ultimate currency right now, let's take a quick look at history. Wealth has always been built on leverage. For centuries, you needed labor, a massive workforce. Then it shifted to capital, meaning you needed a ton of money. More recently, it was code, having specialized software skills. Most of us never had access to those first three. But look at number 4, media. We literally live in the greatest time in human history because right now, pretty much everyone has a smartphone and completely free access to media. You're holding the ultimate tool to capture global attention, and the barrier to entry is basically zero. Step 1, capturing attention and building real trust. Let's get into it. Like we said, we aren't in a transactional economy anymore. We're in a trust economy. And here, attention equals potential energy. Think of it like a giant battery. If you're struggling online, it's probably because you're only focused on making a sale today. But attention, that requires a long-term game plan. A viewer who gets to know, and trust you right now might not buy a single thing from you today. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. They are potential energy. That stored energy is exactly what's going to drive your business next month or even next year. Remember, the audience always comes before the offer. So what if you're starting from absolute scratch, like 0 followers? Well, you've got 2 routes to grab attention. The first is epic proof. That's showing off your client wins and fancy case studies. But if you haven't actually helped anyone yet, you gotta lean on route number 2, epic effort. You become the proof. You just document your own trials and errors. And honestly, here's the secret sauce. People are so terrified of looking like beginners, but documenting your failures, that actually builds massive authority. Sharing the stuff you messed up makes you relatable, authentic, and incredibly trustworthy. Step 2, document the journey and be the trusted figure. And now what's really interesting about this is to become that trusted figure, you don't need to be some perfectly polished influencer chasing the latest viral dance. You just need to create epic content. EPIC. First, entertaining. You gotta hold their attention without just being a super dry, boring tutorial. Second, personalize. Seriously, stop trying to make content for everyone. Make it for one specific person. Actually, a brilliant trick. Make content exclusively for your past self. You already know exactly what they're struggling with. Third, irrefutable. Only speak from your own lived experience. Nobody can argue with your actual life. And fourth, clear. And speaking of being clear, check out this incredible quote from Jay-Z. He said, "I dumbed down for my audience and doubled my dollars." When he was just starting out, he tried to sound super complex using all this intricate lyrical jargon. And guess what? Nobody was buying his records. He realized that trying to sound smart was actually just confusing his audience and pushing them away. So he made his message clear, simple, and digestible. And, well, he became a billionaire. The takeaway here, if a 12-year-old can't understand your message, you probably need to simplify it. Clear messaging wins the game for sure. Moving on to step 3, solving problems and targeting pain points. So the crucial point is while you're documenting your journey, you've got to be actively solving problems. Why? Because pain is literally the number one motivator that makes people take action. A lot of creators try to sell by painting pictures of massive desires or wild, unattainable dreams. But honestly, when things sound too good to be true, our guards just instantly go up. It is way easier to pull someone out of their current pain than it is to lead them towards some theoretical, far-off pleasure. When you deeply understand what hurts for them and you speak directly to it, you build a level of trust that is just rock solid. Okay, so here's the simple 3-step formula to actually do this. Step 1, identify that painful problem. Step 2, give them a free, highly executable solution. I'm talking your free content should literally be better than the stuff other people are charging for. Because when someone takes your free advice, executes it, and gets a real win, boom, we hit step 3. You build indebted trust. It's a total win. They get the result they desperately wanted, and as a natural byproduct, they feel incredibly loyal to you for giving it to them. And this all leads to the absolute climax of the trust economy. We call it the binge and buy effect. When you're constantly putting out real executable solutions and you just casually offer a logical next step like, hey, watch this next video or download this free guide, people just naturally stick around. They stay in your ecosystem. They binge your content. And because you've systematically solved all these little micro problems for them for free, they seamlessly transition into warm leads. They are literally ready and waiting to buy from you. And finally, step 4, the minimal viable product or the MVP, which finally, after all of this audience building, brings us to the actual product. Notice how incredibly late in the game we are right now? You don't need to vanish into a cave for a year to build some flawless masterclass that, frankly, nobody even asked for. You just need a minimal viable product, an MVP. This is something minimal enough to whip together quickly, but viable enough to get someone a legitimate real-world result. And since you already have an audience waiting, you can hand this MVP over to them immediately. That creates this amazing constant feedback loop. They tell you exactly what works, you tweak what doesn't, and you refine the whole thing together. Your audience is literally helping you build the perfect product. So let's wrap this all up by looking at the entire architecture we've explored today, the flow of wealth. It all kicks off with building influence. That's capturing attention and documenting your real raw journey. Then that influence lets you expand your impact. You're solving painful problems and handing people actual results. And what happens after you do all that? Well, you grow income. Income is basically never the first step. It is simply the natural and inevitable byproduct of the influence you've built and the positive impact you've made. I want to leave you with this final thought, and it's a bit of a challenge, really. What will you document today? I highly encourage you to just abandon the code right now. Stop obsessing over tweaking that logo and definitely forget about launching a product to an empty room. We live in the era of media leverage, so pick up your phone, embrace your lived experience, yes, even the messy, awkward failures, and just start building a genuine human connection. The attention economy is literally out there waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching the video this far. I'm excited to share with you an in-depth article on how to create, share, and monetize lead magnets effortlessly, all without technical skills or expensive tools. This article dives deep into the essential steps for building an audience genuinely interested in your brand. It's designed to help you leverage the skills you already have to create and launch a profitable digital business today. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your approach, this guide offers valuable insights to set you on the right path. And one of the key topics covered is why manual outreach and legacy systems can't keep up. You will learn that speed is a vital component of lead conversion. Research shows that responding to a lead within minutes rather than hours dramatically increases the likelihood of a successful sale. The fact that manual systems lack the agility required to pivot when audience behavior changes shows how Lead Creator can address this need. The article helps you pinpoint what your audience truly needs and how your unique skills can meet those needs effectively, ensuring your product stands out in a crowded market. Next, the article explores how to craft compelling content that resonates with your audience and drives sales. It emphasizes the importance of storytelling, clarity, and authenticity in your messaging. You'll learn techniques to create content that not only educates but also emotionally connects with your potential customers. This approach helps build trust and encourages engagement, which are essential for transforming interest into actual purchases. Another vital aspect discussed is effective packaging, how to present your knowledge in a captivating way that appeals to your target market. Alongside this, the article outlines strategies for building a marketing plan that truly connects with the eager buyers. It covers everything from branding and positioning to choosing the right channels for promotion. These insights empower you to showcase your digital product's value clearly and attract the right audience consistently. Finally, the article addresses the challenges new creators often face and offers advice on staying motivated and focused throughout the journey. Launching a digital product can be demanding, but with the right mindset and strategies, you can overcome obstacles and keep progressing. This section provides encouragement and practical tips to help you maintain momentum and achieve long-term success. So go ahead and click on the link below to get started today and turn your ideas into impactful digital products.